boys and girls, welcome to my channel, I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have in here is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. This game it is developed by the Tail Worlds and it is using their revamped in-house engine that looks fantastic, at least on the point of view that they can throw up to around 1000 enemies, I mean not enemies but 1000 NPCs on screen. But today we are just using 500 because this is what comes by default by the game, and also because 1000 really throws your frame rate down in your Ryzen 5 3600. So this is the settings that I'm using pretty much maximum settings 1080p in here. Alright, and there we go, 500, but you can go up to 1000, but like I did told you, the Ryzen 5 can't handle 60 frames per second with those units, and in this scenario also it doesn't. But this is a requirement. So for the recommended, these guys recommend a Ryzen 5 3600X, which is exactly my CPU over here, fantastic. So 8 gigs of RAM and the GTX 1060 with 3 gigabytes of VRAM. So what I have is the 1650 Super with 4 gigabytes, which should be slightly better than the 1060. So I decided to test the game with two different methods. The first one, a big fight with 500 enemies, which is the default value. And with the maximum settings, the settings that I'm using in here, my average was 67 frames per second with a 1% low of 44. The high settings, I got the same minimums at 44, but with an average of 72. And the median settings, I actually got an experience above 60 frames per second. So if you want an experience above 60 frames per second all the time, just go with the median settings. Although this was with a more linear scenario that this game has to offer. If you go with a scenario similar to the one that I did show you at the beginning, even at median settings you can't hold those 60s, alright? Anyway, I don't expect most of the game you will have these fights anyway. But here we go. On the village gameplay, this is the RPG part of the game. What I get, it is a much different experience. For example, with maximum settings, I get an experience above 60 frames per second no matter what, which means that the fights are very demanding. But anyway, like I did told you, that is exactly this scenario over here. I'm not really sure what type of scenarios Mountain Blade pulls on these type of fights, because honestly I never played the first game, so I'm not really sure if it is very generic scenarios like you know, just a random desert or anything where you can kill enemies, or if most of the game you will kill enemies on those villages, in these type of villages. If you will kill enemies in these type of villages, then even median settings won't hold on to 60 frames per second. But if you go with more plain, or you know, more plain and you know, maps without as much geometry, the game will just be fine above 60 frames per second on median and mostly above 60 frames per second on maximum settings. And let me just switch to one of those more bland scenarios, you know, the scenarios that I'm talking that you get more performance. This is one of those examples over here. This is an example of a scenario that are more open with less geometry. You get more foliage and trees. If you go mostly to these type of scenarios, your experience will be mostly above 60 frames per second on maximum settings, unless you get close to a big amount of horsemen and NPCs. If you do that like close to 200 NPCs, then your frame rate will go under 60 frames per second, and even median settings you might risk it to go under 60. I'm not really concerned with the performance at the moment, because this game it is still on early access, and it's going to stay in early access by the time of this video for more than 1 year. At least it is what they say on the Steam page. Their plans it is to be on early access for a full year. But we know that usually this type of early access always delay a little bit. But optimization, it is something that I do hope that they do. I'm not complaining about its optimization, but I think it is this type of games with a lot of NPCs and a lot of draw calls and stuff going on. I really think that they do deserve like a Vulkan version or a DirectX 12 version to help the CPU. And I noticed that with the 1000 units, I really see that the CPU is getting nailed completely. and I think that low-level APIs might actually help with those amount of NPCs. So let's hope they pull up something like that. But looking to their early access notes, it doesn't really seem that they are concerned with optimization or low-level APIs. They are more, you know, they are more inclined to do work like multiplayer and doing voiceovers on the NPCs for the RPG part of the game, creating unique villages. So there are a lot of stuff that they will be into it on the year of early access, but I'm not expecting to see too much optimization. And that's why I'm giving you these results, but I wouldn't really take these results very seriously unless you want to buy the game just right now. If you want to buy it right now, this is the performance that you have with the game, but the game during the release might be completely different. Alright, so what if you want the game? You can get this game from Steam for €44.90. I think it's pretty much 45 euros. I think it's pretty much a AAA price. It is not a AAA price because it's not 49.99 or 59.99, but it is very close to it. I think it's a little bit high price for you know, for an early access. But still, looking to the amount of comments that I got to make this video and looking to the whole internet and forums, I see that this game, it is very awaited by the community, and so I believe that they kind of put this steep price on the game because they know that people really want this game, early access or not. So yeah, I think that's it overall. As for the game itself, I'm not going to talk about it right now because this can change a lot. And I guess that's it. Guys, hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video. Thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.